You talked about how more women than men don't want marriage.
The amount of involuntarily celibate and single men has increased by 253%.
This is the biggest dirty secret of a married woman.
The worst reality that you're ever going to come across as a woman.
That our world will collapse if men suddenly disappear.
There is nothing less attractive than a lustful man.
Have you noticed that the men who used to chase the hardest are now the ones disappearing the fastest? Why are more men in 2026 choosing distance, freedom, and peace instead of constantly pursuing relationships and approval? Stay with us until the end of this video because today's topic reveals a shift that few people predicted but everyone is starting to notice.
Did you know that in the last decade, the amount of involuntarily celibate and single men has increased by 253%? There are many reasons for this trend. Lower testosterone levels, easier access to porn, and of course, OnlyFans models. But that's not the full story. The ugly truth is that the modern woman is making more money now and she's no longer interested in the average man. I know I'll get flack for saying this, and it's not good for women either, but it's the world that we live in. Women are out-learning and out-earning men at historically high levels, and it's created what some statisticians refer to as the death of the average male. As a man, knowing this, you can either settle for where you are if you're content, or raise what I call your mating value score if you're not. This is what I help my clients do, and it's how they go from 5s to 9s and increase the quality and quantity of women they date. If you're curious about your mating value score and how to raise it, read the caption.
For years, many men were told that if they worked harder, earned more, and improved themselves, relationships would naturally become the center of their lives. That promise no longer seems convincing to many men.
Lies every woman must tell a man. Part 2. Number 1. Let's say you went to see a man or you find yourself in a situation where a man asks you, does anybody know you are here? Your answer is yes. I can never go anywhere without sharing my location with my family. Okay? Lie. Number 2. Let's say you're into hookup or you're into runs, whatever. And the man you don't trust asks you if you have a child. Babe, say yes. You know why? Because women with children are less desirable for any form of ritual. So you must lie. Number 3, if a man is pestering you or refusing to take no for an answer, tell him you are married. Trust me, this will end the conversation faster than anything else. Lie. You live alone in this really cute apartment and a guy you're just seeing or a guy you're just meeting wants to know if you live alone. Girl, lie. Say no, I don't live alone. I live with my sister. Because if not, before you know it, he will bomb you and try to move into your house. Lie. A man wants to know if you have a male figure in your life so he can ascertain if you're someone with a solid support system, if you're someone he can easily abuse. Lie. Tell him my brother is a police officer and my dad lives not very far from here, or my dad is always visiting. Girl, lie. I'll see you again.
Instead of making dating their main mission, many men are focusing on creating lifestyles they actually enjoy. They are putting themselves first without feeling guilty about it.
If a man ever brags that they do not chase women, she's falling down. If they brag that they do not chase women, if they brag that they're not going to go out of their way for women, you like men. You want to be a princess. You want a man to chase you. They haven't admitted to themselves that they are like actually gay. Okay, because a guy who guys know. It's not about chasing women in particular. More about pursuing a woman. Okay, if they're bragging that they do not pursue women, you're kind of girly, kind of weird. It's just not a flex because the girls that are actually of high quality are going to not chase you. They're not going to chase your validation. They're not going to go out of their way to prove to you that they're worth being picked. Okay, because a lot of the high quality women that you want are going to require you to pursue them. And yes, I am referring to pursuing, not chasing. So if a woman's not showing any signs of interest, of course the guy shouldn't have to chase them, right? But if you're bragging that, oh yeah, I just, I'm not going to chase a woman. I'm going to have her come to me. I'm not going to pursue women. I'm going to have her come to me. She needs to show me that she's worth being with. I'm sorry, in what world? You are not the prize. The woman is the prize, always. And if you think you're the prize, sir, I think you need to be with men. You need to be with men, and you have to acknowledge the fact that you might possibly be gay. And that's okay. Just learn to accept it. Stop complaining, because the girls that you really want are going to require a little bit of effort. Sorry, sir. It's just how it is.
What is surprising many people is how comfortable these men seem. They are not sitting around waiting for attention. They are busy building routines that make them genuinely happy.
I went to wash my car the other day and I met this gentleman and he was saying, wow, You're washing your car yourself. My wife would never do that. And I'm like, why? I have two hands, just like a man. He said his wife always tell him that's his job, to make sure that her car is washed and everything is maintained. Now, a man's job is not to be her slave. A man's job is to be the head of the household, to guide us, to protect us, yes, to help us with whatever we need. But it doesn't mean that we gonna belittle them and treat them like doormats or treat them with no regard. I can wash my own car. A woman can do the same thing that a man can do. And then those are the women who don't respect these men who are willing to do everything for them. I don't get it.
The modern man is becoming increasingly aware of the value of his time. He is asking himself whether every commitment, relationship, or situation is worth the energy it requires.
Men do not view relationships with women as a romantic thing. And this is a perfect comment that reiterates my point. This person is saying that in the beginning, when they started dating their boyfriend, he was very romantic and like planned dates and bought flowers and did all these things. And like over the 2 years that they were together, eventually he stopped initiating anything at all, didn't give a shit, didn't try, didn't actually value the intimacy of the relationship, the actual intimacy, and all he would initiate was the sex. At the end of the day, men do not view and approach romantic relationships the same way that women do. Men view relationships with women as transactional. They have made relationships with women transactional. If men did genuinely date for love and romantic connection, which they don't, they date for convenience and who they can manipulate the easiest and who is just there at the moment, taxi cab theory. If they really did date for romance like women do, we wouldn't be having these conversations of, women wanting the man to pay for the date. We provide all of the emotional intimacy and the emotional labor. We are the ones that have to carry a fucking child for 9 months. We're the ones that always do the emotional and physical labor. Of course we want at least some fucking compensation in return. And it doesn't have to be transactional. If you guys actually genuinely put effort and love and attention into your relationships with your partners, it wouldn't have to be as transactional as women want it to be now, because we're waking up to the fact that what can you genuinely offer me other than your money, because you're not with me other than the fact that I'm like a sex doll to you.
As a result, many men are becoming less willing to chase people who show little interest or create unnecessary complications. Walking away has become easier than forcing something that does not work.
This is the biggest dirty secret of a married woman. And I know this because I'm a woman. Women start to seek external validation after years into the marriage. And the biggest indication of this is refusing sex.
Whoa, so where do they cheat exactly?
So that's a very good question, because in 2026, women won't cheat at clubs or at work anymore. So they do it at much more discreet spaces, and the most common one is dating apps. They are easy, quick, and no strings attached.
So one can never know if their wife is cheating.
So actually now there's a way to catch her red-handed without ever touching her phone. So all you need is go to cheaterscanner.com and just enter her name, age, location, and a few photos. And if she has any dating profiles, you'll find them here. So this site might not stay up for long. So if you want to check, do it now before it's gone. You are not crazy for checking. You are crazy if you don't check. So click the link under this video or go to cheaterscanner.com to do the test.
Many women are noticing this change because the attention they once expected is becoming less predictable. Men are no longer approaching every opportunity with the same enthusiasm.
When a man goes to silence, the female body experiences chemical stress similar to hunger or a threat to survival. 1. A woman's psyche is tuned for connection. A woman's brain is especially sensitive to emotional distance. When a man goes silent, the same brain areas activate as during physical pain. For her, silence is not peace, it's a signal of danger. 2. Silence is perceived as a threat. From an evolutionary point of view, loss of connection meant isolation from the tribe and therefore a risk of death. That's why the body reacts with a release of cortisol. Even short-term ignoring in messages can trigger a strong hormonal spike. 3. The body reacts like it's starving. UCLA studies showed when a woman feels emotionally disconnected, her body activates the same chemical processes as during hunger. That's why anxiety, clinginess, and irritability appear. The body asks for a dose of closeness. 4. A woman doesn't lose control. She's surviving. Rapid heartbeat, chest tightness, tension in the stomach. It's not drama, it's chemistry. Her body literally fights to restore connection because for the brain, closeness equals safety. 5. Men often don't realize the scale of the reaction. For him, silence is a way to be alone, to process emotions. For her, it feels like he's gone, disappeared, stopped existing. The brain perceives it as the loss of stability, hence the fear, panic, and fight for contact. 6. It's not weakness, it's biology. A woman isn't overreacting. She's losing the signal of safety. Her body triggers measurable reactions. Increased cortisol, lower serotonin, disturbed sleep. It's natural biochemistry, not emotional weakness. 7. Silence destroys trust. When it happens repeatedly, the brain creates an association, love equals danger, and every next distance causes even more anxiety. That's how emotional dependency forms. Even short pauses feels like a breakup. 8. A woman doesn't need words, she needs presence. She doesn't need explanations. She wants to feel the man is still there, even in silence, that he's not disconnecting. This activates oxytocin and reduces stress more effectively than any apology. 9. Understanding this is the key to harmony. When a man knows how her biochemistry works, he stops seeing her reactions as too emotional. He learns to give what truly heals: stability, connection, peace. That's what real maturity looks like. Write connection in the comments and I'll share how you can calm your nervous system and restore your inner safety even when he goes silent. And if this resonated deeply with you, DM me. I love connecting personally and holding space for women one-on-one.
The biggest reason is simple. Men are realizing that peace is difficult to replace once they find it. A calm life often becomes more attractive than a stressful one.
Men don't marry for love. Most men don't know what love is. Emotion is not part of most men. Men don't marry for love. Wake up from your sleep, madam. Woo! Wake up. This is 2026. Men marry for convenience. Cooking, sex, bearing children, and the rest. For those that don't want to marry children, there's something you must be bringing. If it's an older man, he's marrying you for your youth because you are very young. Many men don't know what love is. It is you that you are delusional. That is why you think that he loves you. He married you because you are the person that fits. Do you know how many people that he have dated and left them? Do you know why he picked you? You know you went to see, you are saying, hey, he loved me. No, you are the one that suits his life goal. You are the one that can function under him. It's few men that know what is called partnership. It's few men that know what is called a woman is an equal to them. Very few. The 0.001% of them. But you see the 99.999% of them, they marry somebody that they can suppress, subdue, that can boost their ego, that is an OES member. That is why they left that. They will leave the girl in America to go and marry you from Sokoto. Yes, because it is you that can make them feel like a man. It is you that can stay under them. Say yes, they will not marry. Love.
Social media has also exposed men to different ways of living. They are seeing examples of men traveling, building businesses, improving themselves, and enjoying life without making dating their entire identity.
The next time someone tells you that our world will collapse if men suddenly disappeared from the planet, show them these pictures. This is a picture of a female chimney sweep. This is a female worker unloading coal from a railway wagon. These are women attending to flour processing in a mill. These are female workers in an asbestos factory. This is a female worker making motor vehicle tires. This is a female grave digger. This is a female welder at work in an aircraft factory. This is a female worker in a granite workshop. These are female laborers carrying sacks of coal. This is a female glass worker carrying a tube of rolled glass. These are female workers working in a sugar refinery. And these ones are female workers in a rubber factory. All of these images come from public domain reviews collection titled Women at Work During World War I. This was a moment when huge numbers of women were recruited into jobs left vacant by men who had gone off to fight in the war. Still, even before and after, women have always done plenty of society's heavy lifting. Only their work was often left off official records, sometimes even considered as mere helping their husbands or families, and then ignored by historians altogether. But women have always worked. We just haven't bothered to consider the full scope of their labor until fairly recently.
This shift is creating a new reality where many men are no longer afraid of being alone. In fact, some have become so comfortable with solitude that they actively protect it.
Be the one who got away and got her life together. Because that avoidant man that you're so scared of leaving, I hate to be the one to tell you this, but he's always going to have more love and respect for the woman who got away than the one who stayed and settled for all of his BS. Because the most attractive trait a person can possess is self-respect. You think that by being overly forgiving, you're building his admiration, when really you're building his entitlement. And so over time, the harder you work, the more he resents you and he actually becomes disgusted by you. I want you to think about people that you have met for the first time and they are very eager for you to like them. Does that make you like and respect them more? No. It's not about being liked. That's important. It's about being respected. What you like is going to vary throughout your life, but what you respect stays relatively consistent. I've yet to see a successful relationship thrive without it. No relationship should cost you your dignity and your self-respect. The moment you realize I cannot love this person and respect myself at the same time, pack it up.
When a man stops fearing loneliness, he becomes much harder to pressure into situations that do not benefit him. His decisions become driven by standards instead of emotions.
You talked about how more women than men don't want marriage. What about having sex? Are women less interested in sex or men less interested in sex?
What I sense happening is women, the ones who are sexually active, 1 in 3 men is not having sex versus 1 in 5 women over the last 12 months. So there are more sexless men, but of the men who are having sex, they're having very many more partners.
Why are there more sexless men than women?
Because they're not doing as well in society. When you look at college campuses, right, because the sex ratio is so much skewed in favor of men in that there are so few men on campus versus women. Like in terms of university to get successful, they are much more attractive. So they can set the bounds in terms of how soon they want to be having sex, whether or not they will commit to someone, whether or not they will invest in a partner. And so that's why we see this with women. They're, like I said, they're all fighting for this smaller pool of highly successful men. And those men are not really incentivized to settle down.
That does not mean relationships are no longer important. It simply means men are becoming more selective about who gets access to their time, attention, and effort.
The worst reality that you're ever going to come across as a woman is realizing and accepting that the men that stand before you today, this is as good as it's going to get. This is them at their best. This is them on their best behavior. This is literally them choosing to do the best that they possibly can. It doesn't get any better than this. This is the reason why I don't like it when content creators consistently harp on socialization of males. Of course, I do bring it up on my page and I do mention things that I do notice when it comes to socialization. But you also have to understand that human nature came first. Socialization came after. Human behavior came first. Laws came after. So the version of men that you are seeing today before you, they've been socialized based off of them being observed when they did not have any social rules to follow by or any laws to follow. This is why you will have men in the red pill community literally remind women, if there were no such thing as the police, if there were no laws, if there were not anything to stop men, they would be way worse than they are now, because that is who they are. That is literally who they are. And I'm saying this because I'm piggybacking off of Yana, the author. She made a really, really good video and it's going viral and it's picking up a lot of steam, where essentially she is talking about the fact that women are not supposed to be garnering the assignment, or I guess trying to get this assignment of like wanting to help them become better people. They already are better people. They've already been better people through the government, through the military, through the justice system, through the police. They've already been given all of the guidelines. They've been able to get everything that they need, the enclosures that they need to be better people. This is what you're working with. This is why when women will ask me things like, Princella the Queenmaker, she talks about how she says men are incapable of love. Women will always ask me, do you believe men are incapable of love? Do you believe men are incapable of love? Women believe that because they want to find a loophole to hold on to their fantasy. Or women will always ask, do you believe good men exist? Do you believe good men are out there? They want someone to give them a loophole to find to allow them to keep clinging on to this delusion that they have.
Whether people like this trend or not, it is becoming increasingly difficult to ignore. Men are discovering that fulfillment can come from purpose, freedom, and self-respect just as much as it can from relationships.
I wholeheartedly believe that there is nothing less attractive than a lustful man, okay? Because a lustful man will always choose his impulses and let temptations overpower him when it comes to any woman they have in their life. It does not matter if you are the most funny, beautiful, smart, driven, motivated, perfect woman. They will always find themselves being tempted by other women because they're constantly craving variety. And it's very unfortunate because when a man's impulses controls him, everything around him becomes replaceable, okay? You become disposable. And that's something that I see in today's world. We are so driven by such a lustful society where we're seeing men in committed relationships still cheating on their girlfriends, still cheating on their wives, still sliding into DMs of other girls. I see it myself firsthand all the time with a baby picture in his bio and his wife and a family still liking and hearting my stories, still liking posts of mine, still sliding in. Like, I genuinely will pray for you because to me that is the most unattractive thing, and I feel so bad for the woman that settled with you. What that tells me, you're insecure, number one, okay? And that man who's doing all these things shows that he's available. It's showing that he is still showing interest to other people because he has this void in himself. First off, it comes down to not having a relationship with the Lord. You know, a lustful man does not know God. The sad reality is that a lustful man does not care about your peace, okay? He cares about his own impulses. A lustful man is always looking for the next distraction. He's always looking for something to fill that void, to give him that excitement because he is led by temptation. He is led by impulse. To me, it shows if you are lustful, if you have wandering eyes, you are one of the weakest men to ever walk the earth, okay? It literally talks about this in the Bible, how some of the strongest men's kingdoms and rulers were destroyed because of lust. And literally does not matter how incredible or perfect or an amazing girlfriend that you are or wife that you are, he will always be driven by his own fleshly desires over being obedient to the word of God. And that is why it is so important to find a man who knows who the true living God is. To have a man that puts God first, it is going to be very hard for him to dishonor you and be disobedient to you in your marriage and your relationship. But a lustful man will always put himself before the Lord.
So here is the real question. If men continue choosing peace, independence, and personal growth over constant pursuit, how much will modern dating change over the next few years?
Men stopped playing by the rules, and now everyone's freaking out. Let's break down why silence has become the loudest move.